My mother stood in the parking lot outside my own 8-unit apartment building, wrinkled her nose at the peeling paint on the stairwell railing, and told my aunt over the phone that her daughter lived in a complete dumping ground while her son just closed on a seaside mansion worth $2 million. She said it loud enough for me to hear every single word, standing right there next to my own front door. 3 weeks later, my brother's shiny new mansion sat on the market as a distressed foreclosure listing, the rental market crashing hard enough across the whole coast to wipe out the leveraged bet my entire family had made chasing a lifestyle none of them could actually afford. I sat quietly at my kitchen table, the same table inside the building they mocked as worthless, and I placed the winning bid on that exact mansion for a fraction of what my brother originally paid. Stick around for this entire story, because you need to understand exactly how quiet, boring, patient decisions eventually beat flashy, reckless ones every single time. Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe right now before we get into it. My name is Bailey Foster, and I am 33 years old. I grew up in a small rental house on the outskirts of Tampa, Florida, in a neighborhood where most families lived paycheck to paycheck, though you never would have guessed it from how hard my parents worked pretending otherwise. My father, Randall Foster, repaired washing machines and refrigerators for a local appliance company, while my mother, Cheryl, worked as a hairdresser at a small salon near our house, cutting hair for the same regular clients for almost 20 straight years. My parents cared deeply about appearances, always finding money for the right clothes or the right car lease, even when our actual bank account barely covered rent some months. My younger brother, Tyler, learned that same lesson early, understanding instinctively that looking successful mattered considerably more inside our household than actually being financially stable underneath the surface. Tyler and I grew up close despite our completely different personalities. He always chased the next flashy thing, the newest sneakers, the coolest friend group, while I spent most of my free time reading library books about business and money, fascinated by exactly how wealthy people actually built their fortunes rather than just appeared wealthy on the surface. My grandmother, my father's mother, lived 2 streets over from us throughout my entire childhood, and she became genuinely important during those years. She owned a small triplex property herself, renting out 2 units while living in the third, and she let me tag along collecting rent checks starting around age 11, teaching me patiently about tenant relationships, basic maintenance, and the specific satisfaction that came from owning something real rather than simply renting your entire life away. She told me once, sitting on her porch swing while I helped her balance her small rental ledger, that real wealth built itself quietly, one boring decision at a time, while fake wealth always announced itself loudly through things that depreciated the moment you drove them off a dealer's lot. I didn't fully understand that lesson at 11 years old, though it eventually shaped almost every single decision I made throughout my entire adult life. School felt complicated during those years, watching classmates from wealthier families casually mention vacations or new cars, while my own family stretched every single dollar just maintaining appearances that barely matched our actual financial reality. My best friend throughout high school, a girl named Nadia Osai, came from an immigrant family that valued exactly the same quiet, patient financial discipline my grandmother modeled for me, and our friendship gave me genuine comfort during years when I often felt out of place among flashier, more image-conscious classmates. I worked my first job at 16, cleaning rental units for a local property management company, saving almost every single dollar I earned rather than spending it on the clothes or gadgets Tyler always seemed to prioritize with his own part-time earnings. My parents constantly praised Tyler's confidence and social ease, while treating my quiet frugality almost like a personality flaw rather than the genuine strength I understood it represented. I graduated high school and enrolled in a business program at a state university, working nearly full-time throughout college managing rental properties for the same company I'd started cleaning units for years earlier. My grandmother passed away during my sophomore year, leaving her small triplex directly to me rather than my father. Having watched me genuinely absorb everything she'd patiently taught me over the years, while my own parents remained largely uninterested in learning anything similar themselves. My father seemed hurt initially by his mother's decision, though he never fully understood exactly how deeply he'd communicated his own disinterest in property management throughout countless conversations with her over the years. I moved into one unit of that triplex immediately following graduation, renting out the remaining 2 units, using that steady rental income alongside my own savings to slowly begin building something considerably larger than anyone else in my family ever genuinely expected from me. If you've ever had family members dismiss quiet, patient progress while celebrating flashy shortcuts instead, drop a comment sharing your experience and make sure you've hit subscribe, because everything I built over the following decade completely reshaped my entire family's future. I spent my mid-20s working relentlessly, managing my small triplex carefully while saving aggressively toward acquiring additional rental properties throughout the Tampa area. I met Diego Marsh during this period, a general contractor who handled renovation work for several properties throughout my neighborhood, including some maintenance projects on my own triplex. Diego grew up similarly modest himself, understanding immediately why building genuine equity mattered considerably more to me than any flashy purchase ever could. Our relationship developed slowly and naturally over several years, built on shared values regarding hard work and financial patience, rather than any dramatic romantic gesture. Diego supported my property ambitions completely, often handling renovation work himself at reduced rates whenever I acquired another distressed property needing significant repair work before becoming genuinely rentable. I acquired my second property at 26 years old, a small distressed duplex I purchased considerably below market value after the previous owner faced serious financial hardship and needed a quick sale. I renovated that duplex myself alongside Diego during evenings and weekends, learning basic construction skills that would prove genuinely valuable throughout my entire career, acquiring similar undervalued properties over the following years. My family remained largely uninterested throughout this entire period, my parents attending occasional holiday gatherings where Tyler's latest career move or relationship update always dominated conversation entirely. My own quiet progress acquiring rental properties barely acknowledged beyond polite, disinterested small talk. Tyler pursued a career in real estate sales during the same period, though his approach differed dramatically from my own patient, cash-conscious strategy. Tyler focused almost entirely on flashy, high-commission luxury listings, spending considerable money himself on expensive clothes and a leased sports car, specifically designed projecting an image of success that considerably outpaced his actual financial reality underneath that carefully constructed surface. I acquired my third property at 28 years old, an 8-unit apartment building in a working-class Tampa neighborhood that most investors overlooked given its rough condition and location, slightly outside the trendier areas, attracting more competitive buyers. I purchased this building using savings accumulated from my previous 2 properties, alongside a modest mortgage, moving into 1 unit myself, while renting the remaining 7 to reliable working-class tenants throughout the surrounding neighborhood. I renovated that 8-unit building slowly and carefully over the following 2 years, working alongside Diego during evenings and weekends exactly like I had with my previous properties, prioritizing genuine structural improvements over cosmetic upgrades that wouldn't meaningfully improve the building's long-term value or my tenants' actual living conditions. My parents visited this building exactly twice during my first year owning it, my mother making comments both times regarding the building's rough exterior and working-class tenant population, comparing it unfavorably against Tyler's rapidly growing real estate sales commissions and his increasingly expensive lifestyle choices funded largely through debt rather than genuine savings. I discovered something troubling during my 29th year that revealed exactly how differently Tyler approached his own finances compared to my careful, patient strategy. A mutual friend mentioned casually that Tyler had recently taken out a substantial personal loan, ostensibly for a business investment opportunity, though the friend suspected Tyler actually used those funds covering mounting credit card debt accumulated through years of maintaining an image his actual real estate commissions never genuinely supported. I mentioned this concern gently to my mother during a rare phone conversation, though she dismissed my worry immediately, insisting Tyler understood real estate and finance considerably better than I ever could, given his successful career selling luxury properties throughout the Tampa area. I let the conversation drop, understanding clearly that my family's perception regarding financial success remained deeply tied towards surface appearances rather than genuine underlying financial health. My 8-unit building generated steady, reliable income throughout my early 30s, allowing me to pay down my mortgage aggressively while building substantial cash reserves specifically earmarked toward eventually acquiring additional properties whenever genuine opportunities arose. Diego and I grew increasingly serious throughout this period, discussing marriage eventually, while both remaining genuinely committed toward our shared values regarding patient, disciplined financial growth rather than flashy, debt-fueled lifestyle choices. If you've ever watched family members celebrate risky, debt-fueled choices while dismissing patient, disciplined progress, drop a comment sharing your own experience, because everything that happened during my family's next major financial decision changes this entire story completely. Tyler met his eventual wife, Madison Calloway, during his early 30s, a woman from a wealthy family herself who genuinely valued exactly the kind of flashy, image-conscious lifestyle Tyler had spent years cultivating despite his actual financial reality, never fully supporting it. Their wedding, held at an expensive venue along the Tampa coast, cost considerably more than either of them could genuinely afford, financed partially through additional debt that my parents quietly helped cover, unwilling to admit even to themselves exactly how financially strained their own household budget had become supporting Tyler's increasingly expensive lifestyle choices. My parents attended that wedding beaming with obvious pride, introducing Tyler and Madison enthusiastically to their entire social circle as living proof of genuine family success, while my own steady, growing rental property business remained almost entirely unmentioned throughout that entire celebration. Diego proposed to me roughly 6 months after Tyler's wedding, choosing a quiet moment on the small balcony of our apartment inside my own 8-unit building, rather than anywhere flashy or expensive, understanding completely exactly what genuinely mattered throughout our relationship together. I said yes immediately, genuinely happy building a life alongside someone who valued the same patient, disciplined approach toward both money and genuine partnership that I'd learned from my grandmother years earlier. My parents' reaction toward our engagement felt noticeably muted compared toward their enthusiastic celebration of Tyler's wedding months earlier. My mother asked, almost immediately, whether Diego's contracting business generated genuinely stable income, her tone carrying obvious skepticism regarding whether our modest, practical approach toward life represented genuine success by her own particular standards. Tyler and Madison purchased their first home together shortly after their wedding, a modest starter house that Madison's parents helped considerably financing, though Tyler always described the purchase publicly as entirely his own accomplishment. This pattern continued throughout their first 2 years of marriage, Tyler's real estate commissions covering surface-level lifestyle expenses, while Madison's family quietly subsidized larger, more significant financial decisions behind the scenes. I acquired a 4th property during this same period, a small strip mall containing several retail units that generated steady, reliable commercial rental, income considerably higher than my residential properties alone. I financed this acquisition primarily through cash reserves I'd carefully accumulated over previous years, taking only a modest mortgage covering the remaining balance. Understanding clearly the genuine safety that came from maintaining substantial equity rather than maximizing leverage purely to acquire properties faster. Tyler, meanwhile, grew increasingly frustrated watching other real estate colleagues purchase increasingly impressive personal properties themselves, understanding that his own professional image within Tampa's competitive luxury real estate market depended considerably on projecting genuine, substantial personal wealth, rather than simply selling expensive properties for other people. He approached our parents during a family dinner roughly 3 years after his wedding, proposing an ambitious plan purchasing a genuine seaside mansion along the coast near Sarasota, explaining enthusiastically that this purchase would considerably elevate his professional reputation within Tampa's luxury real estate circles, ultimately generating substantially higher commission income once wealthy clients witnessed his own impressive lifestyle firsthand. My parents, genuinely moved by Tyler's confident enthusiasm, agreed contributing their entire modest retirement savings toward this ambitious purchase, believing completely in Tyler's persuasive vision regarding future financial success this mansion would supposedly generate. Madison's parents contributed additional funds as well, though even their combined contributions still required Tyler securing an aggressive adjustable-rate jumbo mortgage, covering the substantial remaining balance on a $2 million seaside property. I learned about this purchase during a family gathering celebrating my parents' anniversary, watching Tyler proudly display photographs of an impressive white stucco mansion overlooking the Gulf of Mexico near Sarasota, my parents beaming with obvious pride while describing their son's remarkable achievement to every single relative attending that celebration. My mother turned toward me at one point during that same gathering, her tone carrying obvious comparison as she mentioned, loudly enough for several nearby relatives clearly hearing every single word, that she'd recently driven past my own 8-unit building, describing it dismissively as a complete dumping ground compared toward Tyler's impressive new mansion. I felt genuine hurt hearing that comment, though I said nothing directly, understanding clearly that arguing wouldn't change my family's deeply ingrained perception regarding what genuine financial success actually looked like. Diego squeezed my hand gently under the table, understanding exactly how painful that specific moment felt despite my calm, composed exterior throughout the remainder of that entire celebration. If you've ever sat quietly through a family gathering, while relatives dismissed your genuine progress in favor of flashy appearances, drop a comment sharing your own experience, because everything that happened over the following months completely reshaped my entire family's financial reality. I learned considerably more regarding Tyler's specific mortgage arrangement roughly 2 months after that anniversary gathering, through a mortgage broker friend named Priya Chandra, who occasionally shared general market insights whenever we discussed regional real estate trends together. Priya mentioned, during a casual conversation regarding rising interest rates throughout our broader region, that several adjustable-rate jumbo mortgages originated roughly 3 years earlier were approaching their initial rate reset periods, meaning borrowers who'd secured attractively low introductory rates would soon face considerably higher monthly payments once those introductory periods expired completely. I asked Priya carefully, without mentioning Tyler specifically, whether she'd seen many borrowers throughout our region struggling once these rate resets took effect. She confirmed genuinely concerning trends throughout several coastal communities, explaining that combined with a broader regional rental market softening due to oversupply from recent aggressive short-term rental construction, many borrowers who'd purchased expensive properties expecting rental income covering their mortgage payments were beginning experiencing genuine financial strain. I understood immediately, though I said nothing directly toward my family, that Tyler's seaside mansion purchase likely faced exactly this same combination of dangerous financial pressures approaching rapidly. I mentioned my concerns gently toward Diego that same evening, both of us understanding clearly that Tyler's entire financial plan depended heavily upon rental income from occasionally listing the mansion as a luxury vacation property. Income that seemed increasingly uncertain given Priya's concerning market observations. I continued building my own property portfolio carefully throughout this period, maintaining substantial cash reserves specifically, because my grandmother had always emphasized genuine financial safety over maximizing potential returns through excessive leverage. I acquired a 5th property that same year, a small apartment complex I purchased primarily using cash reserves, understanding clearly that maintaining genuine financial flexibility mattered considerably more than aggressively expanding my portfolio, purely for the sake of rapid growth. Tyler's financial situation grew increasingly precarious throughout the following several months, though my family remained largely unaware regarding exactly how serious these underlying pressures had genuinely become. Madison mentioned briefly during a rare conversation that their mansion's rental bookings had slowed considerably compared toward their original projections, though she quickly reassured everyone that this represented merely a temporary seasonal fluctuation rather than any genuine cause for serious concern. I attended another family gathering roughly 6 months after learning about Tyler's rate reset situation, watching him appear increasingly stressed despite his continued attempts, projecting confident success toward our extended family and social circle. My mother mentioned during this same gathering that Tyler had recently discussed potentially refinancing his mortgage, though she seemed genuinely unaware regarding exactly how serious his underlying financial pressures had actually become. The regional rental market crashed dramatically during the following month, a combination of interest rate increases, oversupply throughout coastal vacation rental markets, and broader economic uncertainty causing rental income throughout the entire region to decline sharply almost overnight. Several local news outlets covered this crash extensively, describing it as the most significant regional rental market correction throughout recent memory. Tyler's mansion, dependent entirely upon consistent vacation rental income covering his now considerably higher adjustable mortgage payments following his rate reset, became financially unsustainable almost immediately. Madison called my mother in obvious distress roughly 2 weeks after this market crash began, explaining that they'd fallen seriously behind on mortgage payments and genuinely feared losing the mansion entirely without some kind of immediate financial intervention. My parents, having already contributed their entire retirement savings toward Tyler's original purchase, genuinely lacked any remaining resources helping address this rapidly escalating crisis. They called me directly, genuinely desperate, asking whether I might consider helping Tyler financially given my own comparatively stable property portfolio and steady rental income. I listened carefully throughout that difficult phone conversation, understanding clearly the genuine desperation behind my parents' request, though I also remembered vividly my mother's dismissive comment describing my own building as a complete dumping ground just months earlier during that same anniversary celebration where Tyler's mansion purchase had been celebrated so enthusiastically. I told my parents honestly that I needed time considering exactly how I might genuinely help, without making any immediate promises regarding specific financial assistance. I hung up that phone call feeling a complicated mixture of genuine sympathy toward my family's escalating crisis, alongside something considerably more complicated regarding exactly how I wanted proceeding given everything that had happened between us throughout recent years. If you're wondering exactly how I eventually responded to my family's desperate request for help, drop a comment sharing your prediction, because everything that happened over the following weeks completely transformed my entire family's future. I spent several days genuinely considering exactly how I wanted responding toward my family's escalating financial crisis, discussing everything carefully alongside Diego, who understood completely the complicated emotions I navigated regarding years of dismissive treatment, now colliding directly against genuine family loyalty during a serious crisis. Tyler and Madison fell increasingly behind on their mortgage payments over the following 6 weeks, their mansion moving steadily through Florida's foreclosure process, while they scrambled desperately seeking alternative financing options that never genuinely materialized given their already overextended financial situation. My parents called regularly during this period, their tone growing increasingly desperate as Tyler's situation moved closer toward genuine foreclosure. I decided, after considerable careful thought, that I wouldn't directly bail out Tyler's specific financial mistake, understanding clearly that doing so would simply enable exactly the same reckless, image-driven financial decisions that had led toward this entire crisis in the first place. However, I also genuinely wanted ensuring my family didn't lose everything completely, understanding that some meaningful path forward existed between complete financial rescue and total abandonment during their genuine crisis. I contacted Priya Chandra directly, explaining my family's specific situation honestly, asking her professional opinion regarding exactly how Florida's foreclosure auction process typically worked for properties similar toward Tyler's mansion. She explained the process carefully, noting that properties often sold considerably below their genuine market value during foreclosure auctions, particularly given the broader regional market crash currently affecting buyer confidence throughout coastal luxury properties. I attended Tyler's mansion foreclosure auction, personally roughly 2 months after my parents' initial desperate phone call, sitting quietly among a small group of other potential buyers gathered outside the Sarasota County Courthouse. I'd spent those 2 months carefully arranging my own financing, understanding clearly that maintaining substantial cash reserves throughout my entire career had positioned me perfectly capitalizing on exactly this kind of genuine opportunity. The auction proceeded quickly, given limited buyer interest throughout the broader crashed regional market, several potential bidders backing away once realizing the substantial ongoing costs involved maintaining such a large coastal property amid genuinely uncertain market conditions. I placed my winning bid at exactly $200,000, a fraction of Tyler's original $2 million purchase price, securing that mansion using primarily cash reserves I'd carefully accumulated over years of patient, disciplined property investment. I called my parents immediately following that auction, explaining honestly and directly exactly what I'd just done. My mother remained silent for several long seconds, clearly processing this unexpected news alongside everything else happening within our family during that difficult period. She said, eventually, her voice carrying genuine confusion, "Bailey, you bought Tyler's mansion. I don't understand exactly what this means for our family right now." I explained carefully that I genuinely intended keeping the mansion within our extended family, rather than watching some unrelated stranger acquire it purely through Tyler's financial misfortune. I proposed, calmly and directly, that Tyler and Madison could remain living inside the mansion as tenants, paying me modest, genuinely affordable rent considerably lower than their previous unsustainable mortgage payment, allowing them time rebuilding their finances without facing complete homelessness during this difficult transition. My mother cried genuinely on that phone call, understanding slowly exactly how significant my quiet, patient financial discipline had actually become compared toward Tyler's flashy, ultimately unsustainable lifestyle choices. She said, "Bailey, I said such terrible things about your building. I genuinely didn't understand what you were actually building this entire time." Tyler called me directly himself 2 days later, his voice carrying obvious humility I'd genuinely never heard from him throughout our entire relationship. He said, "Bailey, I don't know how to properly thank you for this. I made some genuinely reckless decisions, and you're the one who ended up saving our family from losing everything completely." I explained honestly that my decision came from genuine family loyalty, rather than any desire proving myself right regarding our very different financial approaches over the years. Tyler and Madison moved back into the mansion as my tenants shortly afterward, paying modest monthly rent that genuinely fit within their actual financial reality, rather than the inflated lifestyle they'd previously struggled desperately maintaining. I think about that anniversary gathering often, remembering my mother's dismissive comment describing my own building as a complete dumping ground, while celebrating Tyler's flashy mansion purchase enthusiastically in front of our entire extended family. I understand now that moment taught me something genuinely important about patience, discipline, and trusting quiet, boring progress over flashy, debt-fueled appearances that often collapse the moment genuine financial pressure arrives. My family's relationship with money changed considerably following everything that happened, Tyler genuinely embracing a more modest, sustainable lifestyle while rebuilding his career and personal finances alongside Madison. My parents visit my own properties regularly now, genuinely curious understanding exactly how I built something so quietly substantial, while they'd spent years dismissing my patient approach in favor of Tyler's flashier choices. I still live in that same 8-unit building today, the exact building my mother once called a dumping ground, watching my property portfolio continue growing steadily through the same patient, disciplined approach my grandmother taught me decades earlier sitting together on her porch swing. If there's one thing I hope you take from everything I've shared today, it's this. Quiet, patient, boring financial discipline almost always outlasts flashy, debt-fueled appearances, even when everyone around you celebrates the shortcuts while dismissing your genuine progress. Keep building steadily, understanding that genuine wealth rarely announces itself loudly until the exact moment it matters most. Thank you so much for staying with me through this entire story today. I would genuinely love hearing your own thoughts down in the comments section below. Have you ever watched patient, disciplined choices eventually outlast flashy shortcuts within your own family? What do you think the real lesson here actually is? Please share your own experience, because these comments genuinely mean so much to me. And if this story resonated with you even slightly, please hit that subscribe button, because there are so many more stories exactly like this one coming your way very soon.